Welcome to this Football Manager 2018 experiment where I'm going to try and complete the ambitious task of simulating the 2018 World Cup 100 times. This is probably going to take a few days. Now, yesterday I uploaded a video showing you how to install the real 2018 World Cup groups. So if you missed that, I've put it in the description below. So if you're interested in playing the real World Cup groups on Football Manager 2018, download the database that I made. As you can see here, I'll just turn my face off a second. I have put all the real 32 teams that are taking part in this summer's World Cup in Russia into this database, and it's all the correct groups as well. Group A, B, C, D, E, F, G and H. All of them are correct, as you can see there. I've put together a spreadsheet as well, which I'm going to fill in every time I simulate a World Cup. So winner, runner-up, third place, fourth place, golden boot, best player, and also a bit of information about the World Cup final as well. So I've got all 100 places on here ready to fill in. I'm going to be here a while, I think, but I'm looking forward to it. I think it's probably my most ambitious experiment yet on this channel. If you're new to the channel, I make lots of various Football Manager experiments as well as Let's Play series. So it'd be great if you could go and check out my other videos as well. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button on this video if you enjoy it. That'd be very much appreciated. Now, in the comments section below, I want you to let me know which nation you think will win the most World Cups on this experiment. Make sure you don't look at other people's comments because they might give it away at the end, but try and comment without looking at anyone else's comment, and then at the end of the video you can go back to it and say, yay, I did it. Don't cheat, please. I have a sneaky suspicion Belgium will do well. They've got incredible players. What a team they have. France will also do well, I think. Brazil, because of their history in the World Cup, they do have some very good players as well. Argentina, because of Messi. Germany, they won the last one. They've got some incredible strength in depth. So England? No, surely not. Maybe the odd two. Also, let me know in the comments any surprise teams. Do you think there's going to be a surprise World Cup winner? Will Panama go all the way to a final and win it miraculously? There's surely going to be one shock in 100 simulations. I'm hoping it's not just going to be boring and Brazil win it 80 times and France win it 10 times and Germany win it 10 times. I think there's going to be some variety here. There's only one way to find out, and that's by simulating. Let's get on with this. Oh, I must add, I've holidayed through to the 26th of May 2018. It's just before the squads are announced. I think they're announced on the 26th. Looking at the schedule, yes, squad registration tomorrow. So we might see it vary throughout the 100 simulations, or it might already be inbuilt into the game that certain players will be picked over others. So I'm going to holiday 100 times from this same point. So I've holidayed one World Cup so far. I'm not going to show every single World Cup in this video because that'd be very boring. You'll see the results at the end of all the 100 World Cups. But we'll have a look in depth at a few World Cups as I go along. Just maybe some incredible finals or some surprise winners. Anyway, without further ado, the winner of the first simulation is Belgium. Romelu Lukaku scored our first World Cup final goal in this experiment. The winner in the 22nd minute. We'll take a look at this goal then. I've noticed Leon Bailey has declared himself for Belgium. I didn't even realise he could play for Belgium, but I looked on the editor and he can declare himself for Belgium, Jamaica, Germany as well, I think. Or England? No, I think England and Belgium, not Germany yet. So that's interesting. But this is the first goal to win the World Cup. And I said Belgium would do well. My prediction has come true. But obviously, it's early days. They might not win another World Cup at all on this experiment, of course. Bailey actually got the assist, and then Lukaku with the finish, as you can see there. There was a real surprise in the group stages. Morocco managed to go through, top of the group, winning every single game, knocking Portugal out in the process. Egypt, with Salah, went through comfortably, winning every single game as well. Really good stuff. Australia managed to get through. Brazil were knocked out in Group E in this first simulation, and England actually finished ahead of Belgium, who obviously went on to win it. This is how the knockout stages went down. You can see Spain beat England in the semi-final on penalties, and Belgium beat Uruguay 1-0. Third place playoff, Uruguay beat England on penalties. Pretty unlucky for England. Lingard actually scored 2 goals, and he actually got the second best player award of the tournament. Cavani got the golden boot ahead of Harry Kane because of that one assist, I believe. But looking at the best player, Isco won it, 7.61. He actually got a lower average rating than Lingard, but managed to win the overall best player award. So that's the first World Cup complete. Belgium get an early lead. Let's get cracking with some more simulations then. So I've now holidayed 7 World Cups, and as you can see from this final score column, they've been pretty boring, the finals. 1-0, 1-0 in extra time, 1-1 penalties, 1-1 penalties, 1-0, 1-0 in extra time, and 1-0. No team has scored more than 1 goal in the World Cup final. It's really bizarre. Belgium have won it 3 out of 7 times. That is incredibly impressive. France actually managed to win the second and third one before England beat Argentina in the 4th simulation. Now, this is the first surprise. Is Uruguay winning it a surprise? I wouldn't regard it as a major surprise, but they're certainly not one of the favourites. But they're probably in that second tier, one of the dark horses for the competition. As you can see, Falco had a storming competition in the 5th simulation. Colombia finished 3rd, Senegal finishing 4th, so that's a little bit of a shock. Well done to Senegal for that. But Falco's managed to get the best golden boot so far, 10 goals scored in that 5th simulation. Eden Hazard is featuring heavily. He's managed to win 3 Best Player awards. Isco's won 2. This is really intriguing, this. I'm absolutely loving it. But I do hope the finals get a bit more interesting in the next few simulations. We have finally seen an exciting World Cup final. This is the 8th simulation, by the way. Belgium beat Argentina 3-1 in the final. Goals from Lukaku, Hazard, Bailey. Messi got a consolation. It wasn't enough. Remarkable stuff. Belgium have won their 4th World Cup out of 8 attempts so far. England beat Spain to 3rd place, by the way. But if I just bring up the Excel spreadsheet, you'll notice that the only semi-final that Spain did not feature in was this 7th simulation. They have lost 4 finals. So they could easily have been in Belgium's shoes. Belgium have won 4 finals. They have lost 1, but Spain have lost 4 finals, and they've got to the semi-finals 7 out of 8 times. So Spain will surely win a few World Cups on this experiment, because they do seem to be one of the strong teams featuring heavily. Well, I wouldn't mind this being a World Cup final in the summer. Brazil beat Croatia 6-3, and it went to extra time despite Mandzukic getting sent off in the 9th minute. Insanity. This chap scored a hat-trick, so he's the first bloke since Jeff Hurst to score a hat-trick in the World Cup final. Wow. This is what I want to see. Serbia have managed to win the World Cup. Bit of a different win. Of course, we've seen Uruguay win it, but they have already won 2 World Cups in their history. Belgium never won it in real life, but they are kind of expected to go all the way, I suppose, in the summer. Serbia, they're not expected to go all the way. So this is what I like to see. Something, bit of a surprise. And you can see it went to extra time and they won 1-0. So well done to Serbia for that one. It wasn't particularly interesting competition. You can see the top goal scorers. There was 3 players that managed to get 5 goals. Salah managed to get the highest average rating. He probably didn't win best player. It was Isco again, actually. He's featured a couple times, and Cristiano Ronaldo did get the golden boot thanks to getting a couple of assists there. And this is where we're at so far after 15 World Cups then. So you can see Spain did manage to win a World Cup finally, beating France in the 12th World Cup. France have won a couple more, and Belgium haven't won any more since that 8th World Cup simulation. But Brazil have now won 2 World Cups. Of course, that 6-3 crazy game. France won 4-3 against Argentina. There's certainly been some more interesting finals lately. This is where we're at then after 15 World Cups. Belgium and France have both managed to win 4 each. Could be a head-to-head battle here between those two. Whereas Brazil, not far behind. They've won 2 World Cups. It's still the early stages. You can easily see Brazil winning more. Spain have done particularly well on this, so I can see them winning more World Cups. I'm surprised Germany have only managed to win 1. They won the 14th simulation, beating Spain 3-1, as you can see there. Most surprising Best Player and Golden Boots award so far. Lingard managed to win the 13th. Smolov as well, top goal scorer in that competition. I'm absolutely loving this. There's just so much being thrown up, and if we looked at some of the group stage matches as well, there's just so much fascinating stuff. I can deep dive into a particular tournament if you want me to do a separate video on a specific World Cup simulation, so let me know if you're interested in seeing that. There is also the opportunity for me to holiday even more World Cups. I don't just have to do 100. I could keep going and release more videos. We'll see how popular this one is first. I'm grinding out the simulations. This is the biggest World Cup final win we've seen so far. Brazil beat England 4-0 in the final. Firmino with a hat-trick. So that's the second hat-trick we've seen so far. Neymar went off after 2 minutes through injury as well. So pretty disastrous final for England in this one, but they did well to get to the final, I guess. Firmino was a top goal scorer, as you can see there. France beat Uruguay 1-0 in the 3rd place player. Fabinho for Brazil managed to get the Best Player award for this competition. Now this is a bit of a shock. Russia, world champions. Who'd have thought that? I didn't think Russia would win a World Cup on this. However, they are in an easy group. Group A, there's no outstanding team in it. You can see anyone getting through from Group A, really. And I suppose if Russia managed to finish top of the group and had an easy path, then they could conceivably get to the semi-finals, and you never know. And of course, they've gone on and won this 3-2 against Germany in the final. Müller scored 2 goals, but Royce went off injured, of course, and Neuer, the goalkeeper, went off injured as well. Luckily, they were able to bring ter Stegen on. What a brilliant win for Russia on home soil, winning the World Cup. I don't think the rest of the world would be happy if this happens. Pretty funny, really. Ozil won the Best Player award. Top goal scorer was actually Luis Suarez. Third place went to Uruguay, beating Mexico in the third place plus. So well done to Mexico for getting to that stage. I'm just intrigued to see Russia's journey. They actually finished second behind Uruguay to go through to the second stage before beating Portugal 1-0 in the second round. They beat Croatia 2-0 in the quarter-final and Mexico in extra time in the semi-final. It's not the hardest path, but they're all very decent teams. Like, they didn't face Argentina or they didn't face Belgium or France, but they did face Germany in the final, who are the current champions, and they won. So I think Russia deserved this. So I'm now a quarter of the way through this marathon of an experiment. Belgium and France have featured heavily so far. France actually beat Denmark in the most recent final. Well done to Denmark for reaching the final. That's really impressive. Russia actually managed to reach another final, but they lost against Uruguay this time, who managed to win their second World Cup. This is how it stands after 25 World Cups. Belgium are leading the way, 2 ahead of France, and they're 2 ahead of Spain and Brazil, with Uruguay and Germany on 2 each. Serbia and Russia, the surprise winners so far, level with England on 1 World Cup win. We haven't seen Argentina, we haven't seen Messi win it, we haven't seen Cristiano Ronaldo win it with Portugal yet. Will they? Argentina have been pretty unlucky, actually. They have lost a few finals. They've lost 4 finals so far. Spain have lost lots of finals, but they have managed to pick up 3 wins now, so they have improved on the whole. Argentina still haven't managed to win a World Cup. They lost 4-2 in the 30th simulation final. Mertens scored 4 goals. Absolutely insane performance from him in this World Cup final, and Belgium have won another final. They're just flying. They're incredible. But wow, what a performance from Mertens, eh? Yeah, 4 of his 6 goals in this competition came in the final. Eden Hazard keeps featuring as the best player, by the way. He's mopping them up amazingly well. Harry Kane was Golden Boot winner in this competition, but Belgium were dominant. We've had another surprise winner. Poland have managed to beat Brazil in the 34th simulation final. Milik and Lewandowski with the goals. Lewandowski with an 86th minute penalty to win the World Cup final for Poland. Now, they're a strong team, so it's not a massive surprise that they've won it, but in the grand scheme of things, I think it is a surprise because they're not expected to win the World Cup. So I'm pleased to see that. They were certainly the second best. You may have seen the statistics there. Look, Brazil were all over Poland, but Poland got the crucial goals to win the World Cup. I think it was only a matter of time before Colombia featured as a World Cup winner. I'm pleased to see it because they've got a very good team, and they managed to beat Uruguay 2-1 in the final. That is a brilliant South American clash, isn't it? Falcao with the winning goal. Let's have a look at the winning goal then from Falcao. Cuadrado was playing right back, by the way, and that was a great cross, and Falcao headed it home. Cuadrado picked up man of the match. Argentina have finally won a World Cup at the 40th attempt. It was the most boring World Cup final of all as well, because it finished 0-0 and went to penalties, and they beat Germany on penalties, which is an achievement and a half, I think. Belgium actually have won 3 in a row. They won 3 out of 4 at that point. They're just on fire. They're crazy. They're doing unbelievably well. You can see Harry Kane's picked up a couple more Golden Boots awards. Eden Hazard keeps winning Best Player awards even if Belgium don't win the World Cup. This is where we're at after 40 World Cups, and Belgium have put together a 7 World Cup lead over France. They're steaming away. I don't think they can be caught unless something drastic changes in the second half of this experiment. I suppose it could, theoretically. Brazil are on 5, Spain are on 4, England, Uruguay and Germany on 2 each. And then we've got Serbia, Argentina, Colombia, Portugal, Poland and Russia all on 1 World Cup each. Is this the biggest shock yet? Denmark winning the World Cup final against France 1-0? I mean, Serbia and Denmark, I think they're probably the two biggest, or Russia. Well, there's been a few, hasn't there? But this is a surprise. Victor Fischer scored the winning goal in the 11th minute, and they were actually down to 10 men for the last 15 minutes. So it's a really impressive result for Denmark. The two best nations so far faced off in the 45th Simulation World Cup final. France beating Belgium 2-1 in the final, thanks to goals from Griezmann and Matuidi after Witsel put Belgium 1-0 up. But this tournament was all about Aguero. He got an 8.83 rating, which I think is the highest yet to win Best Player Award, but he also scored 14 goals, which is just ridiculous. 14 goals in 7 World Cup games. That is insane. And it was kind of because of this crazy final against Germany, third place playoff against Germany, where Germany won on penalties. 5-5, what a game. Aguero scored a hat-trick, but he'd already scored 11 goals up to this game, remember. But wow, Werner got 4 goals as well. This is an insane game. Absolutely love it. Messi actually missed a penalty in the 68th minute as well. By the way, I've noticed Messi is kind of playing midfield for Argentina a lot. And it might be, I mean, Messi obviously can play central midfield very well, but perhaps if they played him further forwards, then maybe they'd have more chance of winning more finals, because they've missed out, you know, on quite a few finals, haven't they? But then you've got Aguero, you've got Higuain, you've got so many attacking players in Argentina. It's hard to fit them all in, which I guess is why the manager's playing Messi in central midfield. So I'm halfway through, finally. It's taken quite a long time. It's basically taken a week to get to this point. It's not hard to holiday such a short period. It doesn't take very long, but it's just a case of having to do it separately. Like with my other experiments, I can holiday all the way into the future and just let it run. But here it's stop, start, putting the details on the spreadsheet, saving a separate file, loading it back to the start, holidaying it again, and it's a bit time consuming. I'm not just sitting at the computer waiting for it to end. So it's taken a while, but it's all worth it. I'm loving it. And as you can see, Argentina have managed to win another World Cup final. They beat Brazil in the final 1-0. Russia have reached another final, losing out to Spain. As you can see, they're 4-0. Convincing win for Spain. England have managed to win another World Cup, beating Argentina in the final. France have won 3 recently. So this is where we're at the halfway point. Belgium have actually only managed to win 1 more World Cup since the 40th World Cup. So slowed down a bit, but they're still 5 ahead of France. Spain and Brazil are joint third with 6 World Cups now. England move up to 3 ahead of Uruguay, Argentina and Germany, who have been poor, haven't they, Germany? I think that's one of the biggest surprises, that they haven't won more World Cups. Serbia, Colombia, Denmark, Portugal, Poland and Russia have 1 each. So what's going to happen in the second half, guys? Will Belgium hold on for victory, or could it all go wrong for them? Let's find out. We finally have a World Cup winner outside of Europe and South America. I think I'm right in saying that. It's been dominated by the European teams and South American teams, as you would expect. Predominantly by the European teams, let's be fair. But a team from Central America, the North American qualification area, Mexico, have beaten Russia 3-0 in the final. Convincing win, but well done to Russia for getting to another final. They really are doing very well, but excellent stuff from Mexico. It's great to see a bit of a different winner as well. So I'm kind of focusing on the surprise wins at the moment. And here's another one. Russia have managed to win their second World Cup final, beating Croatia 1-0. Golovin with the winning goal after 25 minutes. John Guidetti was the top goal scorer at this competition, as Sweden managed to finish 3rd ahead of Poland. So that's a really unusual semi-final lineup. Croatia beat Sweden 7-4 in the semi-final. Wow, what a ridiculous game that is. That is brilliant. Like I said, if anyone wants to see particular competitions in more depth, I'll do separate videos on them for those that are interested. I might do a poll at some point as to which ones I should look at, or perhaps particular games as well. You might want to see a 7-4 classic World Cup semi-final match. Croatia have finally won a World Cup. They beat Mexico in the final. Mexico got to another final, so well done to them. Rakitic with the winning goal. But it's good to see Croatia win. I was hoping they'd get a win eventually. And they've done it again, 2 in a row. They didn't win a single World Cup up until the 69th simulation. And then they win the 69th and 70th simulation. That is really strange. What are the odds of that happening? I don't know. But there we go. You can see Rakitic with another winning goal in the final in the 91st minute to beat France. Falcao keeps getting Golden Boot awards, by the way. He's scoring so many goals in these simulations. So we're now 3/4 of the way through this experiment. You'll notice that Croatia actually managed to win a third World Cup. They won 3 out of 4 at this point. It's just weird how it's done in bunches. I don't really know why that is. You can see Belgium won 4 out of 5 at this point as well. They seem to win loads in bunches. Really quite odd. Germany have finally picked up another World Cup, beating England in the final, by the way, 3-2. There's been some really good finals. There's been a few boring ones, but I mean, the first 7 finals are boring, but on the whole, there've been some goal-heavy games, which is good to see. Let's just update this then. So, 75 World Cups in. Belgium have won 21 World Cups. So we've got 1 more quarter to go. Theoretically, they should be picking up a few more, but you never know. They might drop off completely. France have won 15. Spain and Brazil are on 8 each. And then there's a big gap down to Argentina, Croatia, England and Germany, who all have 3 each. Biggest surprises so far, I guess, Serbia, Mexico and Poland and Denmark. And Russia, who have won 2 somehow. I don't know how, but that's impressive stuff. So this is definitely the most insane final we've seen yet. 6-4! What? How is this possible? Argentina 6, Colombia 4. Falcao and Bakker got 2 goals each for Colombia. Messi scored a penalty. We had an own goal. We had Pereira scoring, Higuain scoring, Aguero scoring, Dybala scoring. Oh, what a ridiculous game. We have to watch this at some point, don't we, on a separate video? Completely ridiculous. Falcao picked up the top goal scorer. What a game of 10 goals, by the way. Oh no, that's best player. But he did get the top goal scorer as well with 10 goals. I haven't actually had a look at any of the best goals of the tournament yet, because they're kind of hit and miss on Football Manager whether it's actually a good goal. Eriksson scored the best goal of this simulation. That was a great strike, to be fair. Denmark have won the World Cup again. They beat France once again in the final, with Dolberg scoring in the 92nd minute. Not bad, eh? Not bad at all. Pretty boring though, this competition. Higuain, 5 goals was the top goal scorer, so not many goals involved. The best player, this is the lowest average rating we've seen, went to Lars Schön, who got 1 goal and 1 assist for Denmark and a 7.0 average rating, but he picked up the best player of the tournament. That's just really bizarre. So heading into the last 10 World Cups of this experiment, this is where we are at 9/10 of the way through this. Belgium haven't won any more World Cups since we last looked at this. France have won 1 more, they're up to 16, but the big winners are really Brazil. They're up to 13 World Cups, and a late charge could see them finish first, but they'd have to win a lot of World Cups out of the last 10, and I see that being a bit unlikely. Spain have done pretty well as well, they're up to 10. Argentina and Germany moved up to 5 each, with Croatia winning another World Cup. So looking at them in more detail, you can see the most recent winners. Croatia beat Argentina in extra time. Javier Hernandez scored 11 goals in the 85th simulation, where Mexico managed to finish 3rd. Brazil beat Switzerland 5-0. I think that's the biggest margin of victory that we've seen so far. I think. Pretty sure. I mean, there's been some pretty crazy games, of course. That's 6-4. Wow. But yeah, that is the biggest margin yet. Switzerland doing well to get to the final, to be fair. We've just seen another 6-4 final involving Argentina. They beat Poland 6-4 this time. Insane stuff from Argentina. Aguero scored a hat-trick in the World Cup final. Lewandowski got a couple goals. What a ridiculous game. This is another one we have to look at some point, surely. But Argentina seem to like the big scoring finals, don't they? Once again, Messi playing in central midfield, picking up a 9.0 this time. But yeah, he just seems to be heavily involved in central midfield for Argentina these days. Croatia finishing 3rd as well, beating Brazil on penalties. They've done particularly well in recent times. They did nothing for the first half of the simulations, but in the second half they've done very well. It's my favourite word of the experiment, but ridiculous has to be used for this final once again. 6-2. Germany beat Belgium. Belgium have obviously been the most successful team on this experiment. They haven't done so well recently, but it looks like they're going to hold on to win the most World Cups overall. But wow, 6-2. Werner once again scoring goals. He scored 2 in this final. Lukaku and Bailey did score for Belgium, but they were just demolished by Germany in this final. What a performance from them. And they've not been particularly brilliant, have they, in this experiment? One of the biggest surprises in regards to underperforming But yeah, that's how to win a World Cup final. Brazil have been really good in the second half of this experiment. Overall, I think they're probably going to finish third behind France, although it's a close run thing. Belgium have been disappointing in the last quarter of this experiment, haven't they? This was a great final. They 3-2 to Brazil. Bailey really has been an important player for Belgium. I don't know whether he's actually going to be selected or is able to be selected by them in real life. On the game he is, but I don't know whether he's actually allowed to play for Belgium in real life. So I don't know how much of a say he has had on proceedings overall. Eden Hazard has been the standout player overall, I think. I think when we look at the overall best player awards, Hazard will come out on top. But we'll have a look at the end of all this. Germany have definitely improved as we've progressed through this experiment. They've just thrashed Argentina, who've obviously dealt out a couple of huge wins in finals recently. They beat them 5-2. And a hat-trick for Thomas Müller. 2 goals in injury time as well. Fantastic stuff. Messi played wonderfully well in central midfield, but he just was unable to inspire his team enough to victory. Aguero, shocking performance in front of goal probably to get that 5.9. Really, really good win from Germany once again. We're creeping towards the end, but I thought I'd just show this one because France have managed to get revenge for their 2 losses against Denmark in finals. Denmark have done particularly well, haven't they? They've done better than I thought they would. They've got a good team. Eriksen, of course, is an incredible player, but they do have some very good defenders as well. And Jorgensen has scored plenty of goals during this experiment. We've not really focused on France's wins, I must say, but Ousmane Dembele's been very good. Coman, Mbappe has been exceptional. Griezmann also has been one of the top goal scorers throughout this experiment. But yeah, I haven't really shown the positive side of France, despite the fact they're the second most successful team on this experiment. They have been very, very good. With the team they have, you'd expect them to do very well and challenge for the real-life World Cup this summer. Another team I haven't focused on is Portugal. This is actually their 4th World Cup win. This is now the penultimate simulation, by the way. They beat Messi's Argentina 2-0 in the final, and Cristiano Ronaldo scored both goals. He has definitely outperformed Messi on this experiment in regards to goals and best player awards. He's won a few, which you'll have seen when I've shown you the Excel spreadsheet. We're just not really focused on Portugal. But yeah, they've managed to win 4 World Cups now, and Ronaldo got one up on Messi in this final. Messi was unfortunately injured, so he couldn't really start, but he came on anyway just after half time, but it just wasn't enough. Ronaldo managed to get the win for Portugal. Well, this is a fitting way to end this experiment. Belgium have won the 100th simulation. I made it. I'm still alive. It's taken me 2 weeks, but I've made it. They beat Spain on penalties. And remember, they won the first ever World Cup of this experiment. They've won the last one. They are the overall winners. We'll have a look at the Excel spreadsheet in a second. This is how the last final went down then. Lukaku equalising late on to send it to extra time. It went to penalties, and it looks like Bailey scored the winning penalty. Spain only managed to score one. Pretty awful stuff. So this is how it finished. All 100 World Cups simulated. I'll scroll down and you can pause if you want to have a quick look back at all the World Cups, all the World Cup finals, the best players, the top goal scorers. Belgium overall winners, as you can see here. Well done. 22 World Cups out of 100. That is really impressive. It looked like they were going to win more than that at one point. They did flop in the last quarter of this experiment, but they ended on a high. France finished on 17, only 2 ahead of Brazil in the end. They had a strong end. Spain finished on 10. Germany actually finished 5th in the end after a very disappointing start to this experiment. Maybe they are the 5th favourites? I don't know. According to Football Manager, they're the 5th favourites. According to Football Manager, Belgium should be winning the World Cup if all goes to plan. They are the most likely team anyway. Argentina finished on 6, so Messi will be pleased. England, Croatia and Portugal all managed to get 4 wins each in the end. Bit surprising that England won that many, I think. I just can't see England. Can't see us winning it in real life. Unless Harry Kane has an absolute stormer. Denmark, Russia, Colombia and Uruguay all managed to win 2 each. Mexico, the only team outside of Europe and South America to win this. We didn't see South Korea featuring. I think they reached the semi-finals once or something. The African teams didn't feature heavily. Egypt did get through to a couple finals. You may have spotted that on the summary, but they weren't able to win it. And Poland also managed to win one World Cup with Serbia. So yeah, it's been fascinating. I've absolutely loved this. For those of you that didn't spot Egypt, you can see they lost against France in the 58th World Cup final. I don't know did they reach another one? Yes, they did. Brazil in the 31st World Cup. Bit unlucky for Egypt. It would have been nice to see them win it and have an African team win a World Cup, but it just wasn't quite meant to be during this experiment. Having a look at some of the other statistics, and this is the most prolific goal scorers during this experiment. Harry Kane ended up winning 10 Golden Boot awards. That's very impressive. Eden Hazard also did particularly well, considering he's not really known for a goal scoring. That's very impressive. Ronaldo also managed to win 8. Falcao scored loads of goals. Aguero as well. Lukaku featured. Guidetti on 4 as well, doing really, really well. Hazard was ridiculous. He won 23 Best Player awards. How? He was so much better than everyone else. Isco did very well, Neymar did very well, but Hazard was just unbelievable. Clearly the best player of this experiment. Just had a look at one last thing. I've counted up all the times that the nations managed to reach the semi-final stages of the World Cup during the 100 simulations. Now, 16 of the 32 teams managed to win the World Cup, which I think is pretty impressive. Half of them won the World Cup. Even bigger number managed to reach the semi-final. 26 of the 32 teams that featured in the World Cup managed to reach the semi-finals, which is really great, I think. Biggest surprises, Morocco, Nigeria, Panama and Costa Rica reaching the semi-final. I wouldn't say Nigeria is a surprise. They kind of underperformed, I would say. But Costa Rica, Panama and Morocco reaching the semi-final. Really good stuff. South Korea and Senegal reached it twice. Peru, probably the best. 6 times they reached the semi-final. And if we were to simulate those semi-finals and to the end of the competition a few times, I think they'd eventually win it. They just couldn't convert it into a World Cup win, unfortunately. The more semi-finals that you reach, the more likely you are to win the World Cup, and that's why Belgium came out on top with France second, I guess. Spain did underperform when they got to the semi-finals, but they still managed to win 10, and Brazil did particularly well towards the end. They converted 6... How many did they win? They won 15 of their 36 times getting through to the semi-finals, so that's pretty impressive stuff as well. Anyway, I really hope you enjoyed this experiment. It's been a right old marathon. It's taken me ages to do. It's certainly taken the longest out of any of my experience, so please leave a like if you did enjoy it. If you do want to see more, if you want me to simulate further, if you want me to simulate another 100 World Cups, I can do that if there's enough interest on this video. If it is really popular, I get lots of likes, lots of comments, then I will do some more. I'm also happy to show some of the World Cups in depth, some of the interesting ones, some of the crazy finals as well. If you're interested in that, I will put some polls on my community section of my YouTube channel to see which games you want to see in videos, basically. Remember guys, you can install this database yourself. There is a link to the video in the description below. So I hope you have lots of fun playing the real World Cup on Football Manager 2018. Until next time, enjoy FM18. See you very soon.